What happens when the king of late-night TV doesn't like his own guests? Johnny Carson was known for his charm, wit, and smooth delivery. But behind the scenes, there were some celebrities he simply couldn't stand. From awkward interviews to tense moments that never made it off set, Carson had his limits, and some stars pushed them way too far. You might think you know who rubbed him the wrong way, but wait until you see who lands at number 1. Let's dive into the list of guests Johnny Carson wished had never sat on his couch. Lola Falana. Let's kick things off with the Queen of Las Vegas herself, Lola Falana. Back in the day, this woman was absolutely everywhere, singing, dancing, and lighting up stages across America. She was a powerhouse performer who earned her crown through sheer talent and charisma. When Falana showed up on The Tonight Show, she was there to talk about her incredible Vegas residency. Sounds like a perfect setup, right? Not quite. The conversation took an unexpected turn when Falana started speaking openly about racial issues and the discrimination she'd witnessed in the entertainment industry. Now, Carson wasn't exactly known for diving into heavy social commentary, and this caught him completely off guard. But wait, there's more drama. Falana's big Vegas gig was happening at the Aladdin Hotel. Yes, that Aladdin. The same one that became a major sore spot between Carson and Wayne Newton. Without even trying, Falana got caught in the fire of Carson's beef with Newton. Talk about wrong place, wrong time. After that appearance, Falana's invitations to The Tonight Show mysteriously dried up. She kept crushing it in Vegas for years, but Johnny's couch? That door was closed. Sometimes speaking your truth comes with a price, even when you're just being honest about your experiences. Dana Carvey. Saturday Night Live launched Dana Carvey into comedy stardom, and at first everything seemed perfect between him and Carson. He got those coveted Tonight Show spots, and Johnny seemed genuinely entertained by the young comedian's talents. But then Carvey made a critical error. He turned his impression skills directly on the king of late night himself. First came the SNL sketch called Carcenio, a brutal parody where Carvey portrayed Johnny as a desperate old-timer trying to copy Arsenio Hall's younger, hipper style. The sketch basically painted Carson as outdated and scrambling to stay relevant. Ouch. But here's where it gets wild. Carvey actually had the guts to do a version of this impression right to Carson's face on The Tonight Show. Imagine mocking your host while sitting in his studio, on his show, to his face. The confidence, or maybe the complete lack of reading the room, was stunning. Carson did not find it funny, at all. The invitations stopped coming. When Wayne's World became a massive hit, and Carvey could have used The Tonight Show to promote it, Carson made sure that didn't happen. For the final year of his legendary run, Johnny kept Carvey at arm's length, proving that you don't mock the king in his own castle. Ed McMahon. You probably thought, wait, Ed McMahon? His own sidekick? The guy who laughed at his jokes for 30 years? Yeah, this one's surprising. But the truth is more complicated than what viewers saw on screen. On camera, Johnny and Ed were magic together. Ed's big personality and booming laugh perfectly balanced Johnny's dry wit and timing. They looked like best friends having the time of their lives every single night. But once those cameras shut off, things were very different. The problem was simple. They were complete opposites. Ed was the life of the party. Loud, social, always ready to hang out with anyone and everyone. Johnny, on the other hand, was intensely private, almost reclusive. He didn't do the Hollywood party scene, and he definitely didn't want to grab drinks after work. Multiple people who worked on the show confirmed that Johnny and Ed rarely spent time together outside the studio. It was strictly professional. Even more shocking, Johnny reportedly told his own son that he couldn't stand Ed McMahon. That's a pretty brutal thing to say about someone you work with every day for 3 decades. The weirdest part? They made it work. Their on-screen chemistry was so natural that nobody watching at home could tell there was any tension behind the scenes. It just goes to show that the best professional relationships don't always require personal friendship, just mutual respect and understanding of what makes good television. Rich Little. Rich Little built his entire career on being a human copy machine. He could sound like anybody, presidents, movie stars, and yes, Johnny Carson. For a while, Johnny seemed cool with it. Little was a regular guest, and Carson would smile and laugh when Little broke into his impression during their conversations. Behind the scenes, though, Johnny was keeping score. Every time Little performed as Carson at some nightclub or award show, it bothered him more than he let on. See, Carson was extremely protective of his image and his brand. Having someone else out there doing Johnny Carson at various events felt like Little was borrowing his identity without permission. The breaking point came in 1982 when Little's Tonight Show appearances suddenly stopped. Rich claimed in his autobiography that Carson had him banned for doing too many impressions of him. The show's producers had a different story. They said Little's act just got stale and repetitive. Classic he said, they said situation. Here's the kicker. Little eventually got his revenge in the best possible way. When HBO made The Late Shift, a movie about the chaotic battle over who would replace Carson, guess who played Johnny? Rich Little himself. Imagine being banned from someone's show and then getting paid to play that person in a major movie. That's some next-level irony right there. Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton and Johnny Carson started out as genuine friends. Newton appeared on The Tonight Show 30 times, using that platform to build his fame and establish himself as a Vegas legend. Everything was great until money and real estate got involved. In 1980, both men wanted to buy the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. When Newton's bid won out over Carson's, something shifted. Johnny didn't handle losing very well, and he started using his platform to take shots at Newton. The jokes in his monologues went from playful to pointed, targeting Newton's appearance and performance style. But Carson crossed a major line when he started making jokes that hinted Newton had connections to organized crime. That's not just roasting someone's haircut or stage presence. That's seriously damaging accusation wrapped in comedy. Newton wasn't laughing. The situation escalated to the point where Wayne Newton actually showed up at Carson's office in person to deliver a warning. Stop with the jokes, or there would be consequences. Carson backed off on the harshest jokes, but the friendship was done. Newton never got another invitation to the show. What started as a professional relationship and genuine friendship ended over a business deal gone wrong. Sometimes money really does ruin everything. Oliver Reed. If you want to see Johnny Carson completely checked out and uncomfortable, watch his interview with British actor Oliver Reed. This one was a train wreck from start to finish, and you could see Johnny mentally calculating how many more minutes until he could escape. Things went sideways when fellow guest Shelley Winters decided to dump her whiskey over Reed's head during the conversation. Instead of lightening the mood, it just made everything more awkward. Reed kept trying to crack jokes and break the tension, but Carson wasn't having any of it. Throughout the entire segment, Johnny looked absolutely bored. Usually, he'd engage with guests, laugh at their stories, play along with their energy. With Reed, nothing. Just dead eyes and counting the seconds. When Reed would make a point about something, Carson would disagree and offer his own take, not in a playful debate way, but in a "the audience doesn't care what you think" kind of way. There was this moment where you could see Johnny fighting back a smile, and not in a good way. It was the smile of someone enduring something they absolutely hated. The whole interview had this weird, hostile energy that was completely unlike Carson's usual smooth hosting style. Nobody really knows what specifically bothered Johnny about Reed. Maybe the heavy drinking, maybe the wild British actor energy, maybe just a personality clash. Whatever it was, this remains one of the most uncomfortable Tonight Show interviews ever, with Carson making zero effort to hide his disinterest.